Sorry, go on. Time for bonds very soon.
Okay, cool. Hello again. Welcome to Schools Head of the River 2025. I'm joined here on the roof of the British Rowing HQ by some very special guests. We've got Jack and Sholto back from Head of the River, so they're both from Crew Connection, and to give you their CVs very briefly. So Jack started rowing at Hinksey Sculling School, I believe. Then he did a gap year at Leander, rowed at university at University of California over in the States.
Berkeley.
Won a gold medal in the men's 8 at the World University Championships in 2018 and is now running Crew Connection with Sholto, helping. So probably some of the people we'll be seeing racing today with their US university applications and training and all sorts of those things. So we'll be hearing a little bit more about that. Sholto, I hope, needs no introduction. He started rowing at City of Oxford. I believe he won the Forley with Marlow Rowing Club in his junior career. Again, spent some time at Leander, rowed at the States for Yale, and then to cut to the chase, won a gold medal in the men's 8 at Paris last year. And then Toby started rowing at Great Marlow School, and then went on to Oxford Brookes, where he's won Henley for the last 3 seasons in the Temple, Visitors and the Grand. And has also won gold medals at the Under-23 World Championships the last 2 years in the men's 8. So very accomplished rowers we've got here today. Hopefully they'll know what they're talking about. So, I mean, over to you guys. What are your predictions for today for the key categories?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we've got some great racing going on today. I think obviously everyone's talking about St Paul's in the Champ 8s and if they'll be able to repeat their quadruple that they had last year. So they've got a lot of returners and some great esteemed rowers. So they'll be looking to really sort of carry that momentum that they got from the win at the Head of the Charles in October and then look to push on and hopefully have a repeat of last season.
Yeah, home advantage for them, but I think they'll be challenged by quite a few of the other schoolboy crews, like the likes of Shiplake, Eton. There's going to be some great race. I mean, the Bradley out there as well. I think the depth in schoolboy rowing that we're seeing at the moment is absolutely incredible. So some really class crews. They would have started already, so hopefully coming around the bend relatively soon. We're up here in Hammersmith, so from here it's just over 2k to go to the finish line, so we're excited to see them all come by.
Yeah, and I mean with the Champ quads as well, we've got Windsor Boys, haven't we? We've got Molesey, all looking to try and get themselves into work round here. And I mean, Windsor Boys are predicted favourites, but I know anything can happen on this course, especially with the steering and everything like that. So we have to see how that goes. And with the girls' quads as well and the girls' 8s, Tideway Scullers putting themselves in there. It's quite a surprise actually for Hammersmith Head and Weehorse, so that was a great result for them. So hopefully they'll be looking to take the win here. Yeah.
And what do we think about the women's championship quads?
Women's championship quads, I think we've got
Whitcliffe, the sort of defending champions, and they've sort of had a great season last year. A lot of returners coming back. Largely rebuilt with J17 international rowers from last year and trying to push on again this year. They've had some incredible results already, so they're the hot favourites and really looking to push on and step on. And then we've got Tideway Scullers, who winners at the Women's Head and Hammersmith Head with a 7-second margin, so really sort of esteemed racing and really sort of competitive.
Yeah, and the course is looking quite nice. Not too much wind. And we'll see how fast the times are compared to previous years. So it's just going 8 past. So I think we'll be seeing the first crews off relatively soon. Yeah, I mean it's such an exciting race. How many times have you guys raced Schools Head?
I've raced Schools Head I think twice. I think maybe we've got my first time was when it got shortened to the 2k course. I think it was. So it's too windy down here, so they shortened it. And that was a great relief on the start. Everyone hoping to do 7k and then get shortened to 2k. So a bit of a different style of racing there. But yeah, that was my first experience of Schools Head. But I imagine you guys have done it quite a fair few times as well.
Yeah, a few times. But yeah, I managed to get victory in the Champ quads with Marlow here. And we had a pretty tough row, but I think we were pleased to come away with a win. It always can surprise you. This course, it's a lot longer than you think. But we'll see some of these tough crews coming past.
And obviously with a lot of crews now transitioning from sort of 8s that they might have done at the head of the river or the women's head of the river to quads and coxless boats, how do you think people are going into sort of changing their sort of mentality, strategy, or preparing for that?
Well, I think this race, and obviously we've got the junior sculling regatta tomorrow, I think quite a lot of clubs use this as like they put an 8 out, and then, well, certainly for my old club, they used to put an 8 out for this and see how they rank within the school field, and then they put a quad out, first quad out tomorrow, and see how they rank this, and then they'll decide if they want to do a quad or an 8 for Henley. I know quite a lot of smaller clubs do that, so they'll use this as an opportunity to see where they rank up and everything. So yeah, I think it would be nice for the smaller clubs to do that.
It's a great point, and it's also the first real tester, Mark, coming into the racing season. Who's looking good? Who's got a gap? Who needs to put in the work and see where you stack up? But I know lots of these schools and clubs will also be going on training camp soon after this. So the season's long, but this is the first real marker, and we're excited to see what happens.
Yeah.
And in terms of any competition for St Paul's this year, who are the big front runners in terms of beating them now, and then also for the end of the year? I know we have King's College Wimbledon, and then we also have Shiplake, who obviously were the Henley finalists last year and narrowly missed out to them.
Yeah, they'll want some revenge. And then you've also got Will Satch recently, start of the season, joining Eton. So I think he's going to bring a lot of positive energy to that crew, that training environment. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I think it's hard to tell at this point, but I think St Paul's will be favourites. But also when you are favourites, it's hard. You've got that marker on your back. So almost throughout my career, whenever I was an underdog, that's sort of the atmosphere that you liked. And even if you're favourites, you've got to try and create that underdog mentality within your squad and not getting complacent.
I think Shiplake and Eton are both no strangers to winning here. Like Shiplake is known for being quite up at the school's head and like pushing the top dogs like St Paul's and Eton. So they could be the ones to watch as well.
And it's quite hard to ignore Teddy's as well, St Edward's School, who obviously sort of won Henley in 2023 and were the dominant force back then. How are they shaping up this year?
I think they're still in the mix. Obviously, they're very much still in the high performance mix. I'm not too sure. I think they had quite a fair few good pairs at trials. I think they had maybe a pair that was actually overall winners at trials, I believe. So I mean, they could be ones to watch, putting those guys in the stern or in the middle of the boat, just absolutely chugging away. So yeah, I think they could be a favourite, could be a bit of an underdog, but we'll see how they do today.
Yeah, that's right. Zeno Chapman and Elan Hughes dominated the GB trials in the pairs. So.
And here we go. We've got the first crew coming down. St Paul's.
What would you be feeling at this point of the race, chaps? If you've got sort of coming past the 8, coming into sort of the Hammersmith Bridge area, what's going through your mind?
Well, if I was St Paul's, I'm going to go past my home club. I think I'll be putting a bit of a show on here, especially trying to squeeze out as much as I can past. I think that's Shiplake coming in second there, trying to squeeze out as many inches as I can, take out as many metres as I can out of the other opposition. Yeah,
it looks like a bit of a tighter line taken by Shiplake, so it'll be interesting to see how that progresses. There's also some serious bunching up. It seems like Shiplake have pulled away a little bit, and we'll be seeing who's sort of looking at the time gaps as we come past.
Yeah, Radley are really pushing on and closing that gap at the back of the field. Wow, we've got some really great racing here. Everyone's really pushing on. It's an incredible sort of start to the regatta. And you can hear the roar from St Paul's as St Paul's come by their own home.
St Paul's taking quite wide line there, I'd say.
Yeah, it is quite a wide line,
yeah. Quite a wide line coming through, but they are looking absolutely class, both of those first two crews.
Yeah, I think it's quite tight. There won't be a lot in it between these first two crews at this point, but I mean, gaps often open up past Hammersmith, so hard to get a mark, but I think coming through this with a lot of confidence and being firm on your rhythm is important. So looking very clean from St Paul's, setting a really good rhythm. They've got some strong guys in there, most of them all off to American universities next year.
Yeah, we've got Alp Caraduggan in the 5 seat there, who's got the 5K erg world record, so he'll be pushing on his boys there and really trying to squeeze out every inch. But Shiplake look like they're really catching.
Looking very nice and tidy there, St Paul's, very nice. Going through Hammersmith. Obviously the school's head is a bit shorter than the head of the river, so probably about 4 minutes from here for them. But Shiplake are gaining very
yeah,
good.
Shiplake look like they're really pushing on, putting St Paul's under some serious pressure.
And they've got a real tight line there, Shiplake.
They'll want some revenge from last year's PE.
King's Wimbledon here, as again looking very tidy.
They're trying to hold off Teddy's though. Teddy's really charging.
They are going for it. They are moving on them.
Teddy's looking strong and aggressive actually in that rhythm.
About a quarter of a length clear water there.
Followed by Radley, and I think it's hard to quite tell the difference between Radley and Teddy's, but I think that there is some it's still pretty close, so it's not a said done deal between
Radley
the two.
looking very nice in their new M Packer. Bit weird to see them not out in a Felipe.
I know. Ollie Wynne Griffith has been doing some work with them and being part of his joining the coaching staff briefly on his alma mater. So he'll be very excited to see them come past.
Now we see the Westminster crew, the winners of the junior pennant at Head of the River. Their stroke man had a bit of a tough time in the last 100 metres of the head, so hopefully he can pace himself for the last bit of this one. And is that Latimer upper?
It is Latimer upper, yeah. They're looking very clean. They look like they're catching Westminster just slightly.
Yeah, always tough to race twice actually from the Westminster crew, racing just a couple of days ago, but you never know. Always good to win.
Yeah, good bit of practice. Bedford looking quite tidy there. Bit of a gap from them from Westminster and Latimer upper to Hampton.
Really nice line there by Bedford, I would say. They've cut the corner really well, got in that really quick water.
Same with Hampton. Hampton looking very nice in their new boat. Martin Cross, first back into a carbon. Looking very nice there, very clean. Nice to see Hampton on the way up again as well.
Yeah. Brand new 8 that was unveiled this Saturday, actually. So they'll be looking to sort of put down a good marker here. And now we've got Eton coming through. Eton, obviously sort of a big name in the world of rowing. They missed
last year. They didn't race due to illness in the boat. So back for revenge this year. So that's why they're starting a little bit further back. But exciting to see them coming through. Just go under Hammersmith Bridge.
Got Dulwich coming through.
Yeah, we've got Dulwich here. They've been steadily improving under Tristan and really sort of pushing through there.
And Reading Bluecoat School. Very good, very nice. Looking strong there, strong backswing. Bit of a bucket in the middle as well.
Yeah, we love a bucket. I mean,
love a bucket.
That 4 and 5 bucket causing a lot of power, keeping that rhythm going past.
Coached by JJ, who was previously at Leander, and now he's obviously moved over to Reading Bluecoat.
Got Abingdon School and Norwich as well.
Closing the gap there, actually. Now you're getting some traction. You'll feel when you've got another crew close to you, you can really push on and feel that almost slight buzz of a head race, of a regatta.
Rory Cruikshank's old school there.
Yep.
Is this Monmouth coming in?
Yeah, Monmouth, obviously a powerhouse in the sort of Welsh rowing scene. They've obviously had a lot of notable athletes. Ewan Hatfield has obviously gone and studied in the US and rowed a lot for GB in there. Obviously,
Jack Totham, a very well-known cops as well within this field.
Yeah. They're looking very clean. I think they pushed on slightly from the field behind them. It looks like KCS. KCS second crew.
I think so. I think that's actually Fulham Reach there. I think that's Fulham Reach, and that is Great Marlow School as well, my own home club. Very good to see them out racing in the Red Hudson again.
Yeah, having a real battle there, coming through the sort of past St Paul's into Hammersmith Bridge.
They've overtaken 4 crews there, so that's good to see.
Oh, they're really pushing on. They're looking like they're having a great row.
So if you were racing, would you prefer having a crews around you, or would you prefer to be in a bit of a vacuum so you kind of not get any distractions or focus on your own rhythm?
I think I'd personally be a bit more of a vacuum, so I can just sort of focus on my rhythm, my pacing, not having to worry about anyone else, redlining it. Oh, and there is an absolutely big field coming in here.
Yeah, we've got Tideway. Looks like we've got Hampton second crew.
My God.
A real 5 boats, all within a couple of metres of each other.
A lot of washing down. Might see some clashing here from Hampton, possibly being tight in.
Looks like we've got what we can expect in a couple of weeks' time in the reverse from the boat race.
Hampton really using that home water advantage to nail down that best line there, really pushing on.
That's absolutely beautiful to see.
Yeah, this is what we love to see, and
Love
this is why
that.
this race always draws such big crowds throughout even on a sort of Tuesday lunchtime.
Then we got Clare's Court and number 27, Emmanuel School. Clare's Court normally for the quads, so that's probably their second 8, I'd say.
They were 5th at Kingston and 4th at Hammersmith Head, so they've obviously looking to improve on those scores and really sort of push on.
And we've got Kingston School here, I believe. Number 28, Kingston School.
Yeah, nice stretch just beyond the tideway. And yeah, they look like they've got a bit of a cleaner run than some of their competitors, so maybe that might serve them well.
Christian Brothers College here. First race this season, first International 8.
American School Club.
It's good. And we got Q House as well. Double bucket from Q House.
Ooh, very good. Yeah, double bucket. Interesting. But I mean, you've got to figure out what would work best for your crew and go with that. I mean, it's good.
Coached by an ex-Brooks boy, Rufus Tilt. And I think that's Bryanston as well.
Bryanston coming down, coached by Richard Bolton, who used to be the selector when I was doing juniors. So rowing world small. You always see people who've been part of your journey.
And this is a Windsor Boys 8.
Here we go.
Very
Windsor
good.
Boys have an 8 coming down.
They're obviously predominantly known for their sculling, but obviously they've transitioned maybe their second ring of athletes into an 8, trying to get some experience and potentially do the PE in the...
Maybe seeing how their J16s come up to, go and put them in first 8s. Seeing if they can take their total dominance into Windsor Boys as well, into sweeping as well. We've got a close call coming up here. We've got 2 8s side by side, and there's about length and a half of clear water between 4 8s here. Amazing bit of racing. Number 37 and number 33, 37 overtaking 33. It's lovely to see.
Great depth from all these crews. It's still a really high standard that's pushing on.
I think that's Pangbourne School behind them as well.
Yeah, Pangbourne just coming under Hammersmith Bridge right now. Seem to have pulled away a little bit from the crews behind.
And the St Joseph's College, Galway, Ireland, first 8 for juniors. They're obviously great to see them come across and really sort of show what they can do in the tideway.
And we've just got some live results coming through from the first 8. So what was the margin, Jack?
So St Paul's School have won in a time of 16 minutes 33. Close second, Shiplake College, 16 minutes 40. St Edward's School, 16 minutes 46.
Yeah, they look strong rhythm from St Edward's. And you've got King's College coming in 4th, Radley in 5th, Bedford in 6th, Latimer Upper in 7th. Really exciting results all the way down.
So as we thought, potentially St Paul's coming away with the win. They were bunched up quite close there. So
yeah, and here we go. Coming under is St Paul's second 8, looking like a punchy crew, closely followed by Shiplake, and it looks like it's going to be a tight margin between the two. But I think they're both pushing on, so leading quite a gap away from Hampton.
I think some of these second 8s might pop the top 10. I think possibly Shiplake and St Paul's might squeeze themselves into that top 10 position.
It looks like there's got a really nice rhythm pulling out of Hammersmith Bridge, past Harrods. So I think a tight battle between the two, but it looks like they put some distance between the other second 8s.
And there's Radley looking really good. In a close battle with Bedford School, who obviously this is the second 8s now, coming down, closely followed by KCS, their second 8 too.
Absolutely class from all of these, producing a second 8 of this calibre. They're all looking really, really class.
No, I don't think I would make it into the second 8 with a standard this high if I was a junior. Really nice to see such a high calibre of schoolboy rowing.
Bit of a battle coming in here. Got Teddy's and Latimer Upper. Teddy's overtaking Latimer Upper. jumping 2 positions.
And what's that like if you've got a second date that's obviously pushing on so much for the first date? Is that something you want as a?
I would say it is. Yeah, I think the depth for more 8s pushing up from the first to the thirds, the fourths. If they have that much depth, then it's great. And I think St Paul's do have a lot of depth, even with their J16s pushing their second 8 and possibly even first 8s on some pieces. I think that's great to see. Got Abingdon School coming down here.
So they're rowing, it looks like, in a bit of a void here. I mean, what's that like as opposed to sort of being side by side with lots of other crews?
I think that's exactly what you want. You want clean water, you want to be able to stay focused on yourself, and that's exactly what this Abingdon crew are doing. They're really sort of just able to get in a rhythm, stay long, and put down the best time they can. They're really sort of managing that water well, and they don't have any distractions around them, so this is an ideal situation for them, being able to churn out the fastest time.
It's good to see that Abingdon are coming back up into it, as well as like Hampton and everything like that. I think Abingdon had a fair few years of being a little bit down after they won the PE in 2013.
I think was the last one, 3 in a row back then. Yeah.
Saw a bit of a lull from Abingdon, but I think that's lovely to see that they're coming back up within the sport as well. It's great.
Now this looks like a second 8 from Dulwich College, so home water for these guys, rowing back towards the Putney embankment where they're based. Again, sort of rowing in a bit of a gap, but looking pretty tidy, looking long, nice rhythm, carrying them through the race there. And now Shrewsbury School coming past us.
They're looking really clean, very distinctive style, sort of quite upright, quite a lot of lean back, really sending that boat, pushing the puddles away, really clean, very nice rowing.
Yeah, I think it looks maybe like a slightly lower rating than some of the other crews, but you've got to remember, it's a long way. People feel like they kind of get under Hammersmith and then they're nearly done, and actually, you've got 40% of the race left to go. You've got to kind of, pace yourself through the race, go hard, but it is a long old way compared to 2K racing.
I think this is Norwich's second 8 coming in. It's great to see that Norwich have got
that's Norwich's second 8, followed closely by Westminster's B boat, and then closely behind that, the King's School Chester, looking really good.
That's mild school there, so I'll give them a shout out. This is they are having a bit of a change of director of rowing this year, in fact. So the old director of rowing there, David Blackham, has just left to be deputy head of Wrekin College. But, they're very, very big programme, in fact. 190 kids rowing there on the lovely River Dee in Chester, and, fantastic boathouse, fantastic facilities there. I think they'll have, I can't remember how many, but a lot of 8s out racing today.
Q House's second 8 coming in here. Q House, a bit of a up-and-coming club, I think. It's good to see that they've got a second 8, bit of depth coming in.
Yeah, really exciting to see they've got a really good second 8. It looks like a really high standard, and everyone's really pushing on, and that's the way you build a program, is really have good strength and depth lower down, and then you can sort of push on.
I think those guys are coached by Tom Shaw and Phil Neeson. I think some of your old teammates from Brooks, Toby.
Many Brooks people are coaching at Q House.
And here's the first of the J16 8. So this is St Paul's J16 8 coming all the way down. Looking really strong, long. They've got some huge ergs in that boat, so hopefully they'll be able to put it all down on the water, and they'll be looking to have a really good year, dominant year for the next sort of 4 years.
Yeah.
Absolute class rowing from these J16 8s as well.
7 GB trialists on board that St Paul's boat, they say, and they're looking for hopefully a top 10 finish overall today, so that would be a very, very strong J16 crew if they can pull that off. Got a few more crews bunching up now. It looks like Hampton, and then on the far side we have Canterbridgian, so a club racing here in the in fact in the last of the second 8s there. So some of these J16 crews moving up past that Cantabrigian crew, and then it's Radley's J16 8 as well, just following those two. So it could be a bit of a challenge for the Coxes here. 3 boats coming onto each other. Got to get that steering right to put yourself in the fastest water and negotiate your way around those other crews.
It's quite difficult for the Cantabrigian crew to know what to do in that situation. Do you move out? Do you know, if you're getting overtaken by a crew and then also there's a crew coming on the inside, it's quite hard to navigate as a Cox.
Yeah, it is. And if you don't know kind of when you're going to be side by side and coming past them, you've got to kind of think ahead, because obviously there's bends going one way and then the other. You have to kind of work out how quickly you're going to catch them and move through, and where's going to be the best place, because ideally you want to be on the inside of them, save a bit of distance. But
and then we've got Latimer Upper School here, second 8s. Home water for them.
yes,
So they'll know exactly what they need to do, what lines they need to take, and where the markers are on the course.
I think also being used to the water is a huge part of this as well. A lot of these junior athletes, this will be the first time they'll be rowing on the tideway, and it'll be really difficult to get used to the bounce and the swirling stream. So having that home water advantage is always a massive thing coming into a race like this.
Got Abingdon School here, coached by Oren Donaghy, one of my crewmates from the Temple Challenge Cup in 2022. Good looking class from them, well done Oren.
this crew finished second at Quintin and second at Wycliffe, they say. So let's see if they can turn that round today into a first place. They're followed by Shrewsbury and then Dulwich Schools Championship J16 8.
Noticed quite a lot of boats racing here with telemetry on. I think that's it's becoming a bit more well known, isn't it? Especially in the junior field as well.
I think that's largely due to the Brooks effect. Brooks having have it on all their sort of boats during races, and a lot of schools implementing that. Obviously, it's sort of quite hard if you're a J16 to have sort of 3 sets of telemetry, and they obviously cost a lot of money. So it's clearly a big thing that coaches are looking for in how to select their athletes.
And then using the athletes as a bit more of a pacing guide as well, I'd say, for going down, especially this long course, just sitting on a number and trying to make it feel as easy as possible. And I think that is Wallingford.
Yeah, so
Wallingford.
another club crew. I'm not sure I've seen kind of junior 8 entries from Wallingford in the past. Maybe they've been more in the quads, but it's great to see a rowing club putting out a very strong, long-looking J16 crew there.
Wallingford said that over Head of the River and Schools Head, they've got about 7 8s entered over those 2 categories. And I think that's amazing to see.
Wow, what a
They've got
show.
that sort of depth. Henley Rowing Club coming past here in the orange boat, the Kangua.
It's great to see them field an 8. Obviously their women's program is so strong, and for their J16s to be able to put out a boat is incredible.
And they're getting chased down by Tideway Scullers, our first of the championship quads. Looking very nice and tidy, very nice and neat. Home water for them, obviously they know exactly where they need to do and what to steer. Especially for the bowman, probably with the steering foot. Very nice and tight, good line there.
And Tideway Scullers were the Head of the River champions last year, and it's obviously helped by them being on home water. They've had a strong season so far and expect to be a real big threat for this year for Windsor Boys School.
And we've got Marlow and Windsor Boys. Windsor Boys looking absolutely tidy there with the catches, just looking like they're going for a paddle. Absolutely amazing.
Windsor Boys reigning Forley National Nat Schools champions, Head of the Charles champions this year. Last year they were 4th at the Head of the River and 17th in 2023, so ready to climb back up.
They'll be looking to overturn that today, won't they?
Yeah. Marlow were 2nd in 2023 here in 2024 and 5th at Hammersmith Head this year.
Got Leander here in the orange boat as well in the Kangua.
And they won Head of the River in 2023 and 5th last year. Strong early form this year with some pairs head medals and win at the Henley Long Distance Sculls. George Nottage, a new junior coach, as JJ left to Reading Bluecoat. Will they be able to return to that power that the sculling of Leander has always known, and are Leander ready to climb back up?
Got Molesey here coming through, looking very strong. They came 2nd, I believe, at Hammersmith Head. and they've got a new junior coach, Julian from Newcastle. The assistant coach in Newcastle has just gone there.
Yeah, they were 7 seconds behind Windsor and the winners of the Kingston Head. And they're really sort of peaking at the right time and look like to be a potential dark horse.
Might be a challenger here.
Yeah, a challenger, exactly.
Got Borlase and Hartbury here in a head-to-head battle, side by side.
Looks like Hartbury's really pushing on there. Obviously, a top sort of junior program. All 4 athletes in the top 20 of the Feb GB trials. So they've been sort of unmatched this year, but can they make it click in the quad? And it looks like they are at the moment. They're really gelling well together, having worked obviously a lot in the singles, and they're pushing on now.
Yeah, and Borlase being very strong back in the day, but slowly coming off the pace a little bit. See if they can match Hartbury here as they go down. Clare's Court coming here. It's Clare's Court's first quad, I imagine, as their second 8 was in the 8. So very well known for sculling school, that is.
They look very tidy coming through Hammersmith here.
And then Northwich Rowing Club, I think that is. So club from the north, they've fielded some very good junior quads in the past few years, and they're coached by Barney and Douglas, who I sometimes have a drink with in the pub up in Chester. Good lads. They do like a good real ale.
That's good to know.
And then a bit of a gap coming in from here. 91 Grange School.
Coached by Gareth Ireland, they say. And they've got an Eamon in the boat. So we've got our Eamon on the camera. They've got theirs in the boat.
Apparently Dave Newman is the coach. Ex-Brooks lad. So might be able to look in class there.
Yeah, really sort of using that Brooks style, very long, very punchy rhythm, really coming down nicely. Look like they're really charging forward through this Hammersmith bend.
They put a bit of a gap on Leeds, who are just coming through Hammersmith now.
Leeds, coached by Rob McKenzie and Finn
There's
Gamble.
There might be a bit of a clash coming in here. Heard a bit of a
6:02 in the Leeds stroke seat there. A bit of action here. Who is
that? Is 94 and 93.
So that's King's School Worcester and Star Club side by side there, I believe. Oh, that's Star Club. Sorry, it was Cambridge 99 and King's School Worcester. Now you should be seeing Star Club on your screen.
Star Club a bit of a lower rate there, punchy.
So they've had just 2 sessions together, so they're hoping to go out and show what this crew is capable of. But they're looking to qualify for Henley this year. Let's hope they do.
Star Club and alumni, Callum Gilby won the Temple this year, Oxford Brooks.
Now we've got Hexham Rowing Club in your shot now. They're looking really punchy, really nice blades, really nice blade work.
Lots of national medalists in this crew, and Jacob doesn't say what seed he's in, but he does many other sports alongside rowing, such as sprinting and mountain biking. And Ronan in that crew is a lifeguard.
Wow.
Yeah, so hopefully won't be needing those skills today.
And
just
the
in
note
case.
says Ethan's the youngest in the boat. So well done, Ethan, getting in the boat as the youngest.
American School in London there. I think they've actually lost their head coach from last year, Jamie Kirkwood, to LEH now.
Walton Rowing Club coming through. Just going under Hammersmith. Very tight line there from Walton Rowing Club.
Really tight line, really nice line, especially with no coxswain. You know, that's the kind of line you want. Trying to save off every time and really sort of push forward in that.
Bit unlike some of the lines that we're just seeing here, quite wide coming in.
And it's quite hard if you don't have a coxswain, especially if you're not used to this water. It can be very sort of deceptive on how close you need to be, and you obviously get quite nervous that you don't want to hit into the bridge, but you know, it can always be a challenge if you're in a coxless boat.
Can mean so many seconds over the long course. And I think that is
Brentford Boat Club?
Yeah, Brentford.
And then we've got Barn Elms Rowing Club.
And then
followed.
Shiplake at the back. Shiplake in a quad.
I think Barn Elms, in fact, have scratched. So we've got Durham School. Durham School and Shiplake, as you say. I think we just saw Canford, who have moved past this bunch of crews, so a very strong crew there. Canford saying they're coached by Ian Dryden, an absolute legend, they say. It's good to hear some love for people's coaches.
And Canford said what's the goals for the race? They just want to win. So, I mean,
who doesn't?
Don't we all?
Who doesn't? Yeah.
Don't we all?
King's School Canterbury coming up next. Very tight line there, looking quite close to that buoy in the bridge, but hopefully going to avoid those and just shave a little bit of distance off there.
It's really brave, and that's the kind of line you want to do, especially if you're in a Cox's boat. So well done to that steers person.
That club's had a new head of rowing this year in Luke Reiser.
Wow, Luke Reiser, incredible. He's obviously doing really well and told them how to do great lines coming down through Hammersmith.
Do some good rowers in the past, that club, King's Canterbury as well, Freddie Allinson.
Here we've got St Paul's School in the quad, coming down looking very nice and tight. They've got huge strength in
depth.
This is Monmouth coming down in the quad.
It does look like that, yeah.
I don't think I've seen Monmouth scull too much, actually.
No, I think they've always focused on the 8, so I suppose perhaps this is a lower ranked boat, but it's always good to see kids getting the chance to both scull and sweep and race in both, because I suppose there's slightly different skills involved, and being in a quad, you have to steer, you have that added element of watermanship in sculling, I think, that you maybe miss when you're always rowing in an 8.
2-man leaving the leg drive to the last minute, opening up the hips off the front, very good.
Getting that power on early.
Power curve up.
Yeah, really get hold of it around the front.
And here we got the Lees School coming down now, looking very tight, nice line. Rowing really well coming through Hammersmith Bridge. And then we're chased quite quickly by
the third eight.
So
Eton and Radley, it looks like, are in a little bit of a battle here. Radley 114, Eton 112. So that Radley crew has moved up nearly 2 places. This is quite a surge from this Radley crew.
Eton trying to fend off Radley here.
Yeah, I mean, Eton have
bucket.
got themselves on the inside there, so it's going to be tough for that Radley crew for the next few hundred metres, but then it will kind of switch to their advantage.
Radley's always been known for having quite a lot of depth, and I think these private schools, especially Eton and Radley, are very much got a lot more depth than any of the state schools could ever think about, really. I think maybe Windsor Boys could only match that in quads, but to field as many 8s as they have today, it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to have the resources for it, I think, when you need the numbers of coaches so that, everyone can get coaching, because obviously your kids starting rowing, they need the guidance. They don't know what to do already.
Followed by Bedford and Teddy's here, third 8, sorry.
Yeah, so it looks like Teddy's have moved up some places and called on to Bedford there. They've started a good 4 spaces down on Bedford there. So a very strong programme again in Teddy's and strength in depth there.
Hampton coming down here, there's a bit of a gap between them and everyone else, so they're just sort of in a bit of a lull here. Just staying by themselves, staying internal, trying to red line it. I'd prefer that if I was racing at the moment, I think.
And now Westminster School leading this next bunch, side by side with Shiplake. Westminster say that the 6-man is an aspiring basketball athlete.
And these are the first of the J16 8s, so this is a hotly contested event, and really sort of looking to see what they can do early on in the season and take home that first title of the year.
3 seats in that Shiplake crew, an accomplished GCSE French speaker apparently.
Oh, very good.
So I think this is the first of the J16 first 8s now, so that category below the championship category. But the King's School Ely here.
We've got Windsor Boys close here, so the J16s here, putting out fielding an 8, looking very strong.
They look like they're moving through a couple of those crews there.
And Clare's Court as well. both Clares Court and Windsor boys from around Dorney area, both really good sculling schools, so it's great to see that they've got an 8 out here as well.
And transitioning into sweep boats from sculling boats isn't easy, so they've obviously been working quite hard on sweeping and maybe developing that sweeping team rather than sculling, so it'll be interesting to see if they can rival any of the big schools.
I imagine they'll be back out in the quads tomorrow for the sculling head, out in force.
Crew from St Joseph College Rowing Club Ireland here, so I don't think we've seen them enter schools there before, but it's great to see people making the trip across the Irish Sea to come and race here in lovely sunny London.
And St Paul's is J16-8 as well, gone past their own home club now to Hammersmith, knowing this course very, very well.
I think that's did you say J15-8?
Oh, J15-8,
yeah, we're on to the
very
J15-8.
good.
So they've moved up a few spaces on those J16 first eights. Clearly a very strong J15 crew. They've sent in a little bit of information here. First in their age group at Docklands Head.
And they're being chased down by KCS in the J15-8.
They've asked us St Paul's to judge their Cox's line. Well, I'm sure it's a very good line.
I think that was a pretty good line from them. I think this is Hampton, followed by Westminster.
Got to say, some very strong-looking J15-8s here. Actually, they've got the length, they've got the rhythm. Some of these crews. So yeah, I'm quite impressed by some of the rowing I'm seeing here, because you don't have the biggest kids at J15 level, but they're rowing long, they're giving it some. It's quite impressive to see that at that young an age from some of these crews here.
We've got Radley here as well, and I think Radley, St Paul's and KCS and possibly Hampton as well now, that their 15s look exactly the same as their almost top class crew. And I think it's amazing that they can get the depth and technique on straight from when they start rowing to the top levels, and I think it's amazing to see.
No doubt we'll be seeing some of these athletes throughout the years in the GB setups. These are sort of the athletes that really sort of come on and then make those world's teams and push on throughout their time at their school.
Yeah, I think it's always the mark of sort of a strong club and strong program when the crews lower down the ranking, or the age groups are rowing in the same style as the ones higher up, and maybe it's part of that Brooks effect. That's another very, very big club we've seen, where all the eights, first eight down to 7th, 8th or 8th eight, however many they have, they row in the same style no matter which boat they're in.
Now we have Dulwich School coming up in the J15 crew. Obviously home water for them, looking to put on a good show, rowing back down to their boathouse, so they've got a nice easy row back home. Yeah,
it can be a bit of a pain with the heads of the river. If you're starting later down, you have to boat first, then you have to wait to start, and then if your boating location is up near the start, you've got to row all the way back. So I know some people end up on the water for 4.5 hours on some of these days, which is that's quite a feat, to last through an outing that long.
And we've got another Wallingford crew here as well. Great to see Wallingford entering a J15-8. Another club.
Closely followed by Anthem Boat Club and Leeds. So here we are.
I'm going to now pass over to Fergus Mainland, another special guest who is joining us. So Fergus, you should all know him, Junior Rowing News, British Rowing, the voice of rowing.
Now we've got the
Fergus,
first,
over to you.
The first of the women's champions coming down. So we've got Headington School there, the defending champions from 2024 and winners of the Princess Philip Challenge Trophy at Henley this year. Second of the women's head, just 6 seconds off the top.
Looking very strong there, very strong, punching through their way through those J15 boys 8s as well.
Yeah, that Headington crew is phenomenal, isn't it, chaps? The 0.2 I think of a second, or 0.9 of a second. I think the difference between Headington and Tideway Scullers at Women's Head 2.5 weeks ago, I think it was now. But obviously the difference is Headington have perhaps got a little bit of traffic to weave through at the front of this, whilst we know Tideway Scullers are starting further down the list. So those two crews, less than a second at Women's Head. It's like what, one duff stroke, two duff strokes down the course. So that'll be a really interesting one to keep our eyes on as the results come through. And
we've got Shiplake here as well, who's in a bit of their own water, so they can just concentrate on what they're doing, try and redline it, not worry about any other crews going past. I think we've missed out Henley Rowing Club. I think they were paddling back up to the start line. I think they had a fin come off during the race, so unfortunately we can't see them today and see how they will stack up. Surbiton.
Shiplake got undefeated this year at Quinton and Hammersmith Head. They were third at Women's Head, 19 seconds off Tideway Scullers, but hungry to close that gap. I'm sure they'll be able to.
Got LEH and Marlow here. LEH overtaken Marlow.
Yeah, LEH, a couple of years back, a phenomenal crew that progressed so far in the inaugural stages of that Prince Philip Challenge Trophy. Just waiting now to see them come right back up to the very top of those junior rankings again. They were very consistent throughout that season. A terrific result at Henley, and I'd love to see them take that step again, right back up to the very top levels of.
Exactly, and now they've got a new coach, Jamie Kirkwood, obviously looking to right the ship and bring them back to their glory days. But the results show that they're already improving and moving up, so they're a potential dark horse. And if they get a really good result here, a fast start to the season could mean them challenging for medals throughout that season.
We've got that Surbiton crew as well. Before we got Emily Shaw from the World's 4 last year, and Hannah Jacobs in the Coupe Women's 4 as well. So I mean, there's some big dogs in that.
Yeah,
in that crew. So
I think across the board, I think we've talked about it a huge amount, but I think the introduction of the Prince Philip, the introduction of the Diamond Jubilee, back in 2012, I think those two events, there's no doubt about the impact that those two events have had on the success of our Coupe teams, our Junior Worlds teams, because I think it just focuses the whole of the women's programs, particularly the top women's programs, in the direction they want to go on.
And helps the under-23 teams as well.
Absolutely.
I mean, the under-23 women's team taking gold in everything that they had this year. And I mean, absolutely amazing to see.
We've got a bit of a time gap at the moment. We are clearly in between divisions. We've just had the girls' championship 8, so I think there's a couple of minutes between the girls' championship 8 and the junior G16 second 8. So we'll be expecting about 1:57. That's Radley College. Probably in a couple of minutes' time coming down the course. But I suppose just to recap some of the results that we've had coming through so far. Big one, obviously, right at the very top, St Paul's starting off the season so well. And I think the narrative that we've seen in recent years, obviously, is that Shiplake performed particularly well at the School's Head. That was sort of quashed a little bit in the past couple of seasons as they build. But 7 seconds at this stage of the season for St Paul's is, for their point of view, a terrific result.
I think it's a very dominant result, isn't it, from St Paul's? And I think they are definitely the ones to watch out for this season. Definitely dominating result. It's normally been about within 1 or 2, maybe 3 seconds, but 7 seconds is an absolute amazing result for them. And it looked very close coming into Hammersmith here. It looked very close from Shiplake coming in, but maybe they just gained and sat there, and maybe St Paul's gave them a little bit of wash and washed them down a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I'd have loved to have seen that St Paul's crew racing at the head of the river at the weekend.
Yes.
Because they were 11th last year, and beat a lot of the top university programs in the process as well. But I think if you look at sort of whispers, I say sort of tentatively whispers, that they say it could be as good as that sort of 2018 group.
Yes,
whispers.
I've heard that, yeah.
Those whispers. And of course, that was the crew that equalled the record for the Thames Challenge Cup at Henley. So I'd have loved to have seen the St Paul's crew go head-to-head against the clubs, the unis at the head of the river, but clearly they've they wanted to lay down a mark, and they've done just that here today, haven't they?
Yeah, no doubt, and I think they'll be trying to emulate the crew that obviously won the quadruple last year and trying to push on from those results. But it is so hard to, if you're coming down off a high and what more can you win, then it's really hard to sort of build back up that next year, even if you do have returners to try and do what you did last year and really replicate that success. So Bobby will be pushing them forward, no doubt, and hoping that they'll sort of manage to step on here. But I think if you're in the Shiplake crew here, what would you be telling yourselves? I guess you'd be saying, we weren't on our home water, we didn't know the right lines. It's always hard to challenge a tideway club or school on their own home water and step on. So I think there's all to play for coming into that 2K season, and we've got not long to wait before that.
Yeah, and I think for St Edwards as well to come third, I think that's quite a good result for them. I think that's showing that they're pushing the semi-finalist Shiplake from last year, showing that they are capable of obviously getting back into the picture. I know they had a win 2 years ago now, the 2022 win, but I think that they had a little bit of a down again and then back up again, but I think they are definitely on the up again.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned it already whilst they were coming through and whilst they're trucking on, but can I just say sort of a word for Hampton School? I think that result for Hampton is terrific. Really bringing them right back up to the very top of schoolboy rowing, and I think, as you alluded to on the live stream, I think the new first eight, named after Martin Cross, someone who's given so much to this sport, both at the Olympic Games, but then everything that he's done post-Olympic Games. And I was chatting to Greg Searle at the head of the river, and he was dashing away. He was hosting a big celebration for Martin, and from what I understand, Crossy had no idea what was coming up. But they did it as sort of like a Martin Cross, this is your life, and they produced Matt Britton, they produced Tim Foster, and all these people came out and shared Martin Cross stories. And here it is, and it's had a terrific first racing opportunity, that boat. So yeah, I think it's testament to all of everything that Crossy's given to this sport, that the boys are stepping up and giving that boat a good race today.
Yeah, they'll be taking that down with pride, won't they?
Yeah, definitely.
We got the winners. We've got the results from the winners up here. So we've got
provisional
winners. So we've got obviously Champ 8, St Paul's. The first Champ 8 is Hampton School.
School first eights.
School first eights. School/junior second eights, Eton College. Champ J16 eights is St Paul's, and Champ Quads is Windsor Boys.
I mean, that Windsor quad looked sensational.
It did look very, very good.
Really impressive.
Very class unit there.
Champ Quads. Leander Club second in the championship quads. I mean, if that stands, Windsor, Leander first, second in those quads. We've had some amazing duels on the sculling side of things, haven't we, between Leander and Windsor, right at the very top in volley finals in recent years. So if we get another sort of boxing match between those two clubs, the junior sculling will be wicked this year, won't it?
It will, and everything changes when it comes to Henley. There's so many variations of what might happen due to the stream and the wind and the crowd, and Leander always seem to perform slightly better on their home water over a slightly longer distance. But now we've got the first of the J6.
It's our next batch coming down the course.
Next batch.
Just before you get to them, provisionally we've come in Molesey Boat Club. Shout out to them. They're using British rowing. They're boating out of British rowing. So maybe there's some special magic in the boat bays here. But I think Molesey Boat Club, third in Boys Championship quads. Terrific result for them.
That's great for them.
Yeah, as you said, I think on the stream earlier on, new head coach Julian Egan-Shuttler has come in. He's looking after that junior programme now. But setting themselves up very well. A nice springboard for the rest of the season, Molesey Boat Club.
Yeah, well done for that.
So we're not getting the junior second J16 dates. We're actually continuing off with women's championship age. This is Wallingford Rowing Club coming down the course. So there's been a big break sort of halfway through this division or this grouping of boats. It's the Wallingford Rowing Club Girls Championship 8 crew that is coming down, chased by St Edwards. So those crews coming in order. We're not quite sure what the reason for the gap is, But that'll make for some fascinating results, particularly for Tideway Scullers, as we alluded to at the top of the show. But they're ding-dong between Headington and themselves and Headington at Women's 8's Head of the River. We might not get to see the next round of that.
And obviously, like Headington and Tideway had to go through all the J15 8s to get towards the start line, to get towards the finish line. So, I mean, these guys have got clear water, home water as well for some of them.
Clear water, but a long old wait at the start.
Long old wait, yeah, true.
And these guys are all being chased down by Tideway Scullers. Tideway Scullers obviously sort of home to the Tideway and real sort of dominant force in the sculling scene, but they've transitioned over to the 8 and look like they're putting on a pretty good show with a bit of a gap back from that main group there.
Well, Stratford-upon-Avon, they were 156. Tideway Scullers by our draw were 155, and it was Stratford-upon-Avon who went through Hammersmith Bridge first of all. So we'll have to wait and see what happens when the results come out. Yeah.
Lots of interesting spacings here happening on the Tideway, and we'll have to confirm about what's happening there, but when we know, we'll let you know.
Yeah, I've got to. I'll sign off now, having stuck with you for Girls' Championship 8s. Gentlemen, this has been wonderful,
Thank you very much.
I'll leave you back in Wilf's very capable hands.
Thank you very much, Fergus. I believe Fergus probably has another cup of tea to make.
Hopefully one for all of us.
Yes, yeah. Toby's hoping for some tea and biscuits, but Ben not get his hopes up.
We got the first of the school J16 second 8s coming down. So in your picture now, we've got the King's College School, Radley College, and tightly bunched up Eton College, and it looks like Eton are on the outside, overtaking all of them, with Radley in third and potentially
Hampton, I think. I think that's.
I think it's.
I think that is the yellow of Hampton. I might be wrong, but I think that could be Hampton. If that is Hampton, then they have absolutely clawed through.
That is indeed
Hampton.
Hampton.
Yeah, it is
blades.
Hampton.
Yeah, black boat.
They have absolutely clawed through here. Oh, we got Henley here as well. Seen paddling back to the finish before the race started. I think their fin had gone apparently. So it's great to see that they managed to fix that in time and managed to get the boat up and up to the start line and race.
Yeah, but they'll be slightly frustrated that they're having to race with in such a tight crowd, really sort of pushing on there.
Yeah, I believe you had some delays before your Henley final last year. I mean, what's that like when there's kind of that disruption on the water? I know it was perhaps the other crew that had to fix some equipment breakage, but what's it like when that race time gets changes and you're not starting when you expect to be?
I think it is a bit frustrating. I mean, we were on the other side of it, so we didn't have the equipment fault, but I think they were a little bit stressed about it. We just took it as a bit more of a longer warm-up, so we got to practice start off the blocks, which was really useful, and I think that put us in a lot of confidence. So, I mean, it swings and roundabouts, really. I think it swings and roundabouts. For if it is happening to you, it could be a bit more of an effect, but I think you just got to take it and not let it affect you, and just relax into what you do best.
Very good, very good. Another Wallingford rowing club crew here, so J16 second 8 from Wallingford. So seeing Wallingford out in force in 8s today, which I don't think we've seen before from them as a club. So it's great to see a club. You're building up a big program, getting a lot of kids rowing.
And St Paul's second J16 8. I mean, they just keep pumping out 8s, don't they? They just look absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I mean,
testament to Bobby Thatcher. He's really built that incredible program, and it's really hard to sort of stop that momentum building when you have got an incredible group of athletes at the top and everyone wants to be a part of it. So everyone from the school is obviously looking at rowing as a great opportunity to sort of win some medals and have a great group of friends to sort of row with.
And to do it on your home water here in front of everyone as well. And they've got massive support over there, as we can see from St Paul's. I mean, they've got their home crowd and they know exactly what they need to do, don't they?
Yeah, that particular St Paul's crew, coached by Seb Benziker, in fact, a recent alumnus, Cambridge president last year, and has won 3 boat races. So surely giving them some very wise words before their race
exactly
today.
He knows the lines, doesn't he, around here?
He does, I'm sure. I'm sure.
I think that's Eton College.
Yeah, looks like a bit of a potential overtake going on here. Bedford School moving up on Eton there, and Eton being told to move a little bit. We've got Dulwich's J16 second 8, followed by Shrewsbury. Looks like Dulwich might have had a bit of an overtake there. It seems like some of these crews might have started slightly out of order, or we've just had a lot of overtaking.
Got Shrewsbury there. Shrewsbury's second 8. Second J16 8, sorry.
And now here we are coming up to the first of the girls' championship first 8s, and we have
Kingston Grammar School, I think that is. Yeah.
And we've got Amy in that crew, who's won 3 medals at home internationals.
And
very good.
Coached by Beth Ann Thomas, so great coach there. You know, a lot of experience at coaching crews. I think for GB, Junior Worlds, and Coop, and being at Kingston a good number of years. So
she taught me everything I knew about rowing as well. She coached me at
the
Leander Rowing Club as well.
What can you say about Beth Ann then?
Oh, she's a great coach, very sort of humble and very down to earth. She'll she's really good at drilling crews, and you can see that from the Kingston Grammar School. You know, they're really looking tidy. And then
Putney High School. So they're obviously home water for them. They know exactly what they need to do, and they haven't got much of a paddle back after, do they?
Coached by Rachel Saunders and Paul Reedy. So Paul Reedy, GB senior women's coach for many years, I believe. And was at London Rowing Club before that, but a very experienced hand there, giving them some guidance. So this is Emmanuel School coming up now. A very strong looking crew there, actually. I can see, it looks like there's some pretty tall oars women on board that crew. Very strong, very long. You can see there's power and rhythm in that boat. Followed by a very tidy looking crew from Wimbledon High School. So it looks like Wimbledon have moved up on Emmanuel there, and they could be battling it out side by side in the later stages of this race.
We've got King's School Chester coming up as well.
There we go, my old school. These guys coached by Matt Jump, I believe. Very experienced coach. Has coached at the Coop and Junior Worlds, and been head coach of King's Chester for 7 or 8 years now, and built that into a very strong program. Like I say, 190 kids rowing there, so giving so many kids the opportunity to try rowing and try this sport, which hopefully can give them some great life experiences.
Cox doing a very good line there, probably taken from Harry Brightmore. Probably asked
Quite
Harry,
possibly, yeah.
Alumni.
Very famous alumnus there.
And we've got, coming down as well, got Great Marlow School.
What can you tell us about Great Marlow, Toby?
My old club. It's great to see that they've got an 8 out here as well. Just trying to qualify as many boats as they can for Henley Royal Regatta. Last year they qualified a women's quad, men's quad and a men's 8. So we're trying to get the women's quad, trying to get all 4 in, trying to get as many athletes as we can racing. And they are looking quite tidy, to be fair.
They say
by Lewis.
Goal for the race: look good, feel good, row good. Well, I think they're
probably
doing that.
And they're followed up by a very tidy-looking Headington boat. Really sort of charging through that field, looking very clean, taking the optimal line.
Yeah, I think that's the first of the girls' second 8s, that Headington crew. So obviously, massive program, a lot of resources, a lot of boats there from Headington.
Headington sort of being a bit of a St Paul's there, being keep teaching the same sort of style on their first boat, looking exactly the same as their second boat and third boat. Looking really
absolutely,
good, really tidy
absolutely.
there.
Now I think we have looks like is it a phone?
It's Kingston there going through Hammersmith Bridge.
Yeah, I'm not sure it is Kingston.
not
I can't see
Kingston?
them on the draw. I think that might be a foreign crew because they're rowing with Imperial
Oh.
College blades. So I think that might be Sport Nautique de Bergerac.
Very well pronounced.
Ah.
And then following them up, they've got Surbiton High School, looking very good.
Yeah,
really
big
charging along.
big swing in that Surbiton crew there. Very distinctive style, and really getting that power from the hips in the second half of the stroke there.
Got Godolphin and Latimer School here.
I think this is this the Grange?
Or is this Grange?
It
Oh,
is.
it's
yeah,
Grange.
yeah.
This is the Grange.
Oh.
So they're coached by Helen Ireland, who is empowering them as unbreakable female athletes. They're asking for some sponsorship there as well. We can't endorse any sponsorships on this live stream. We're entirely impartial. And they've been learning to sweep this year, it seems. So, yeah, first year sweeping, looking pretty good for it.
It looks like we've got a really strong Shiplake crew coming on the outside of...
Wallingford Rowing Club there. And I think that might be
Emmanuel.
Emmanuel.
That is
who got there
Emmanuel.
first. So 3 boats side by side there. Another sort of challenge for the Coxes, keeping those blades from clashing. Or, if you do clash as a rower, you've got to grip that handle tight. You've got to not let go and make sure that you don't lose the clash.
It's really interesting. We're seeing a real rise from Shiplake, aren't we, on
Yeah,
the
we
women's
are.
side?
Yeah.
It's sort of great to see that we've got both the women's and the men's programs of Shiplake really stepping on and really sort of trying to raise the standard of women's rowing in the UK.
First and a second 8. It's amazing to see that they've got a second 8 now. They're normally pumping at least 1 quad or 2 quads. Now we've got 16 athletes. It's amazing to see.
Wow.
It's fantastic to see the sort of growing depth in women's rowing in this country generally, and it's Henley Royal Regatta, obviously they're looking to move over time towards complete parity of events, and it's fantastic to see sort of those new opportunities to race there, and sort of the standard and depth of the field really stepping up to that as well.
Just had Tyway Scholars go past as well, looking really nice and tidy. So they were looking to be in the mix as well. Obviously, with their first crew being very, very good at women's head.
Dominant. Exactly.
And this is now the girls' second 8 from Latimer Upper School coming by here. Being chased down by Putney High School. So it looks like Putney High School have perhaps already had an overtake. Quite a high rating in that Putney High School crew, looking very racy, and I'm guessing they're looking to sort of come through this Latimer crew.
Yeah, really tapping it along well. I think that's the way you want to do it when you've got quite a long race. You don't want to necessarily use too much power in the legs. You just want to keep it light, keep it ticking along, and they're showing a lot of maturity as in their racing sort of experience. So yeah, really, really nice rowing there.
Girls' second 8 from the King's School Chester now, looking long, looking tidy. Like I say, it's a great strength in depth in that programme, and it's showing out on the water here today.
We've got KGS coming down.
Yeah.
This is the start of the School J15 first 8s.
It is indeed, and they've got quite a gap on the rest of their field, so very, very strong looking crew from KGS. I think a big hip swing in that crew. They don't look like perhaps the biggest guys in that boat, but they're really getting everything out themselves, getting that length by really swinging through there.
Yeah, I love how long they are. They're really, really utilising all of their length that they have and really pushing on, sending those puddles down far away from the boat, and they're looking like they're getting a lot of clearance away from the puddles, which is a hard thing to do, especially as a junior crew.
Everything underneath the water,
Exactly.
utilising everything. And I think this is
St George's College.
191, yes.
Yeah, St George's College. Followed by another King's School Chester crew, in fact.
Your
Yeah.
Alamata.
Indeed, chasing them down. I think it looks like they've closed up that gap a little bit, so maybe they'll be going for an overtake once they're through Hammersmith into the
See if they
final
can do that round the
40%.
outside.
Yeah,
See if they can.
let's see if they can.
And I think we've got my old school here again, Great Marlow School, coming down in the red Hudson.
They are chasing down Haberdashers Monmouth there. Looks like they're setting up for perhaps another overtake on the inside there.
obviously there's such a history at Great Marlow School of rowing, and what's it like being there and sort of seeing athletes develop? There was so much history of, Steve Redgrave and so many great athletes that have come before.
Yeah, well, I think obviously having Steve Redgrave within Marlow and within Great Marlow School is massive, and means that the club can thrive and show that they've got what it takes to go to even the top level. But I mean, Fergus Murrison's done a great job in pushing the club to what it is now, and I mean, we're seeing 3, 4 8s here from both the men and the women overall. So I mean, that's great to see. It's come all the way. I think we've got about 120 members now.
Wow!
So I mean, it's amazing that he's done that.
And now we've got Shiplake College's first 8 of the J15 boys, and they're looking very clean. Oh, a little scratch from the head from the 5 seat. He's really trying to sort of push his crew along. Looking very nice and tidy there. Sending those puddles away. I love the lean back there. I feel like that's always such a great indication of a good schoolboy crew, really sending it through and rowing with a lot of passion.
Yeah, and looking to get that sort of 35 degrees around the back and 2 degrees of slip.
Shiplake looking very distinctive always in their B sort of all-in-one and B blades. Very distinctive on the track.
And here we have Kew House School taking a very nice line. Oh, there, Bedford. Sorry.
So it looks like they've had some overtakes potentially there. They're up here in the order.
Got Pangbourne School here. Pangbourne College. 197.
I think they have a new director of rowing this year, Pangbourne.
Charles Waits Roberts?
No, he's long gone. I think this could be another international crew here. Certainly they're rowing with Imperial College blades. So it looks like that is Istituto Statale Eastern Italy. So they've really strong J15 first 8 there. It looks like they've had several overtakes, and look at the way they're rowing. Very tidy, very long. You can see that that boat. There's not much check on that boat around the front when the blades go in there. They're keeping that boat moving through the front end. So really good to see.
Very leggy. Very
great
good.
to see so many international crews coming over as well. It's typically quite difficult, especially a midweek race, for international school to come over and race in England. So it's great to see them, and hopefully they come out every year.
And we've got coming down here, we've got.
I think that's a Latimer Upper School crew. So these are the girls' J16 Champ-8s heading down towards us here.
Latimer Upper overtaking Crew 200, which is the King's School Canterbury.
So that's their J15 boys, so some girls overtaking boys here.
It's great to see. They're looking absolutely class here from the J16 Women's 8, Champ J16 Women's 8. Really class. And the Surbiton following them as well. And following them we've got Henley Rowing Club as well. Henley Rowing Club J16 8, coached by Maisie Gordon. Looking very nice and tidy. Nice and neat, very upright style. And they're going to be into quads tomorrow, I'd imagine. Henley Rowing Club, and see how they match up.
Busy couple of days, pretty hard on the legs doing this, and then the scullery again tomorrow. So it looks like they're in a bit of a side-by-side battle with Hampton School's J15 first day there.
Coached by Leon Redman as well. Very good. And I think Henley Rowing Club is apparently well known for Leon's programmes, quite well known for just being very hard the whole time. Not much UT2 within the programme. It's just hard training. What do you think of that?
I think it can be quite a good tactic if you're working with athletes who don't have a lot of time and training time, and getting in a lot of sort of short, quick workouts, but very intense. I think it's a good substitute for the amount of time.
Especially with the club as well.
Yeah.
Can't do it just from their school.
And here we have St Paul's Girls' School coming along.
And LEH as well.
LEH having quite a battle there, looking very clean, very long. Really nice blade work from St Paul's Girls' School there.
And we've got the start of the quads as well, the Championship Women's Quads. We've got Wycliffe coming in. So they are the favourites at the moment. They won it last year, I believe.
They do, but they're focusing on the process. They say their goal for the race is to not capsize, while they haven't done thus far. So hopefully they will not do so between Hammersmith and the finish.
And we've got Tideway Scullers 2:15, overtaken Marlow Rowing Club 2:14, around the inside of Hammersmith.
Tideway Scullers won the women's head and the Hammersmith head this year with a 7-second margin of the next place. So, they're on home water and they're looking to bounce back from loss last year at Henley to Wycliffe, and hopefully trying to sort of have a bit of a redemption year.
And now on screen, I think that's a quad from Aberdeen Schools Rowing Association.
No, it's 2:18, that one there.
Oh, is it? Is it Maidenhead Rowing
That
Club?
was Maidenhead Rowing Club.
It looked like Aberdeen kit. Oh well.
I think it was 2:18. I think it was 2:18.
Should have gone Specsavers.
And we've got Clare's Court here, overtaken Molesey. Clare's Court number 2:20 and Molesey number 2:16. So Clare's Court have absolutely moved through the field here, showing a dominating performance.
And Molesey were definitely picked for one of the favourites before this, so maybe there's been a slight change of order. We've seen quite a lot of that already today. But Clare's Court really looking strong there.
Yeah, really nice long rhythm, and letting the boat come under them on the recovery. They're getting as much kind of free speed out of that boat on the recovery as they can, and then really long, powerful strokes underwater in between. So some really good rowing on display.
Followed by Great Marlow School with a quad as well. Dominating performance from them, that's good.
I've got to say, with these quads, there's a lot of overtaking going on, and I'm seeing some pretty good steering from these steers people in these Coxless quads. Actually, it's pretty tricky to guide yourself through all the other crews and round other crews if you're overtaking just with a steering foot. And I've got to say, crews out here today are doing a great job of it.
Got Trenton Boat Club going here, keeping it nice and tappy on the rate, looking really clean actually. I think upright at the front and the back, just letting the blades go through the water, nice quick catch. Looking really tidy. And we've got a bit of an overtake going on here from crew 226 and 227.
So that is St George's College and Hexham Rowing Club side by side there.
Followed by Walton and Pangbourne College. And Kew House as well. This is Leeds Rowing Club.
It is indeed, number 230.
And Headington School as well.
Very tidy looking quad from them, so they've had lots of eights, lots of quads, a lot of girls rowing at that programme.
A lot of depth coming
Indeed,
in, especially
indeed.
to enter championship quads as well. And they had a championship 8 and a championship J16 8, so and I think a second 8 as well.
Yeah.
That's a lot of depth going
out
in there.
force today.
Yes.
Got a bit of bunching here, a lot of real quick, and when you haven't got a coxswain, it's really difficult to not clash and not hit. So these quads are doing really well not to get in each other's way.
238 LEH, and then bunched up we've got 235 and 234.
So that's Cambridge 99 and American School in London. So LEH, absolutely flying row here, it looks like. Several overtakes already.
Nice loose tappy rhythm there.
Yeah, really
punchy underneath the water as well.
Yeah, Jamie Kirkwood would be really pleased with how his athletes are rowing there. They're looking really clean, and obviously he's sort of a sculler himself, so being able to impart some of that Olympic wisdom onto his athletes will no doubt
go far. That's 237. Bedford Girls' School, followed by 241 and 243. So that's
Westminster School
yes,
and
Westminster School.
Methodist College Belfast.
Methodist College have overtaken Westminster School. That's a good shift from them.
It is, they say, they are undefeated in Ireland, but their goal for this race is to survive. Well, I think they may be thriving rather than merely surviving today.
And the Methodist College from Belfast has got a Coops medalist in it as well.
King's School Ely, followed by Canford School. So Canford School perhaps again have moved up some places here.
We've got St Paul's Girls' School as well.
They're looking really tidy, followed closely by
Dartford, I think. Is it Dartford?
Dart Totnes.
Dart
Very close.
Totnes.
Dart Totnes. So
Dart
down
Totnes.
in Devon.
So they'll be used to the tidal conditions, won't they?
They
Luckily
will,
enough, it's
yeah.
not too bad out here. Nice bit of breeze.
Very picturesque stretch of river I think they're rolling down there.
Yeah, they're looking very clean, aren't they? They're obviously handling the water really well. They've got a nice stretch behind them, and then
Then we've got a bit of a gap here from them to
Is
the
that
next
Walton
cruise,
Rowing Club?
which I think could be Walton Rowing Club. No, it's not. It's not Walton Rowing Club. It is 246. 246. Reading Bluecoat School. Great to see Reading Bluecoat School coming out into a quad, championship quad as well.
and then they're being chased down by Monmouth School, so just behind them.
They're actually chased by. Oh, yep. No, I am right. Are you all right? You are right.
Now we've got a couple of Fulham Reach Boat Club rowers, so they'll be coming just past their home stretch and their home boathouse, so they'll be hopefully be roared on, and they're looking really good and really clean there. So they'll be hoping to push on here just so they come round the river. They'll know that river really, really well.
They're looking to have fun for their first race and make good memories. So hopefully they're doing that.
252. That is the
Istituto
Italians.
Statale.
Followed closely by Hinksey Sculling School. They're looking very tidy. Obviously a lot of GB talent in that boat. They've had a great season already and looking to push on.
What can you tell us about Hinksey Sculling School as a club program that's had some great results in recent years?
They're a club that do a lot with not a little. They don't have a boathouse. They're sort of just training out of a boat trailer. So obviously they've produced some incredible athletes going to GB trials, winning world's medals, but they don't even have a boathouse or a place to train. They're training out of a community centre with ergs, and they share it with judo. A judo class, so they're always trying to battle the judo class to get on the erg. But they produce some incredible athletes. A lot of them, their athletes have gone off to the US. They've had a recruited athlete to Stanford, Brown, Syracuse. They're really sort of doing a lot with very few resources, which is always amazing to see. And I'm a big proponent of them, having coached there myself. They're really sort of incredible to see. And then we've got the last few rowers of this this champ event. So we've got.
I think this might be another crew from Fulham Reach Boat Club here. So Fulham Reach is sea crew, in fact. So a lot of quads out here today from Fulham Reach. They've actually sent in a little bit of information, coached by Nick. He's really nice and pushes us to be the best we can be, with some laughs along the way. Well, that's lovely to hear.
I mean, that is what it's about, isn't it, at junior levels? Basically, it's not all just about results for these athletes. It's all about trying to get them into the sport and get them along into the path of trying to do under-23s and university rowing. And the main part of that is just trying to keep it fun, isn't it? Really, and it's keeping the high performance fun as well as working hard and showing about it's not all about the winning.
That's exactly it. And I think, if you're coming into a race like this, these are the best times of the season. You've really got to sort of enjoy these races. And I think a lot of junior athletes and really sort of get caught up with how they're performing. And I think the main thing you've got to do is, I know it's super cliche, but you've got to try and enjoy it. These are the best parts of the sport, and going out and comparing yourselves to others and, battling and having a great day out is always the main thing. So the fact that they're doing that and they're putting on a really good showing here is a real testament to them, and everyone should inspire to be like them.
Yeah, how do you find that with the people you coach with their sort of university applications? Obviously, those guys, you're probably at the higher end of things, and at the more of the performance end, and really pushing themselves to do well and get those university places. I mean, How do you find the balance of sort of fun and pressure is for those guys?
Yeah, I think when you've got a situation like you've trying to get an erg score for a certain school, or it can be really sort of daunting, and I think keeping it really simple and having a few actionable things that you're looking to do each race or each 2K is really important, so you're not getting overburdened with the pressure of the situation and just trying to enjoy the processes and not getting caught up. So I think, you know, it's all about keeping it simple, having 1 or 2 points in your race that you're really trying to work on and not trying to think of 5 or 6 different things all at one time. So now we've got the start of the
J15 boys second eight.
So we've got some pulls coming down here, taking quite a wide line, but getting that fast water. Really, really looking really strong for a J15 second eight, you know.
Cox has got right on the rudder there, hasn't he?
yeah. And, you know, it's always hard when you're that young, you know, to try and learn how to row really quickly and be dexterous. You know, rowing these boats is really difficult, and trying to, you know, have a good control over that really long oar can always be a challenge. So it looks like they're putting down a really good time. Look how clean they are as well. Really nice finishes. Stepping away, no white water. Coach will be really pleased with that.
Yeah, it looks like they've sort of opened up perhaps that gap to Radley behind them, just looking at the distance between the crews here.
Yeah, it looks like the Cox is reading off, got his race plan on his leg or in his hand. Good to see that the Cox is prepared going into the race as well. And he's got quite a good line going into the Hammersmith Bridge as well. Obviously it's home water for them, so they know exactly what they need to do. But looking quite punchy there, St Paul's.
Can hear some shouts from them. They're obviously going for it, and they're followed closely by Radley here. So Radley really trying to push on there and see what they can do. You know, obviously it's difficult when you're starting behind someone to try and row in their puddles, but it looks like they're handling it quite well, and probably the first time out on the tideway for a lot of them, so being able to handle that water is always a challenge, but they look like they're doing it really, really well.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty nice conditions actually looking at the river now for the racing. Obviously, as the tide drops off the hard walls, it's a little bit less bouncy, so yeah, it's slight tailwind, but not much wind at all, and it's really not bad for tideway conditions out there.
Radley looking quite high on the rate there, which is good. Nice and punchy underneath the water as well. And King's College maybe a bit lower.
Yeah, and trying to fend off that King's College school, who look like they're just sort of levering that boat really nicely. And then here we've got Abingdon School, who have a nice sort of very relaxed rhythm. That 7C is really nice and long and relaxed.
Another carbon end packer.
I know, yeah.
So many carbon end packers from Abingdon School and St Paul's. We've got Hampton School here.
Followed by the King's School Chester.
And I think we've got miscellaneous quads somehow.
Another girls' quad from Sculling Club here. Apologies for my pronunciation there.
And I think is that Bedford?
It is indeed
definitely
Bedford.
Bedford.
I can hear their supporters on the bank there, giving them a big cheer.
Loving the support from the bank.
And they're really being pushed on by that. Look at the 5C. He's really sort of very dynamic, very strong, really sending those puddles away. I really like that rowing.
So just looking at the live stream comments here. So we've got a comment from a Jeff Bezos here saying, Toby, please can you give a shout out to Amphata Bio, please?
There is a shout out. I don't know what that is, but yeah, shout out, there you go.
And here we have
Latimer Upper School.
Latimer Upper School. They're looking very tidy, very long. Look like they're having a great row. Followed closely by Kew House, and then Dulwich School, and then finally bringing up the rear here. It looks like the start of the J15
girls champ eights, I think. So I think these two categories getting mixed together a little bit. We've obviously got Eton's J15 second 8, Dulwich's J15 second 8 there, and then very strong crew from Surbiton High School. It looks like they might have overtaken Henley Rowing Club. So it looks like these guys could perhaps be on for a win in the Championship Girls J15 8s.
Yeah. We've got Surbiton here with Latimer Upper. And then we've got a close match here between Henley Rowing Club, LEH, and Wallingford Rowing Club again. Great to see Wallingford Rowing Club with so many 8s out here. Got Henley Rowing Club 266 being overtaken by LEH 269, and then Wallingford Rowing Club 270.
LEH are having a really good regatta, it seems. They've put on a real good showing, really stepping on Jamie Kirkwood.
Yeah, I think I'm sure some of that effect. Very, very talented rower, very, very good coach as well. I've actually been coached by him a little bit when I was at Imperial College. But he was an incredibly good boat mover as a sculler and won the Wingfield sculls many times. And he wasn't the sort of biggest, strongest oarsman, but was incredibly quick. In a single, one of the hardest of boats, because you had that feel and that skill, and I think he's really good at passing that on to his athletes.
I think we just had Headington Rowing Club, Headington School, and I think this is Putney High.
Putney High.
They do look good. Who is that? That is number 274.
That is Barn Elms.
Barn Elms.
Barn Elms looking really good. On the overtake there, looking very sort of strong and, very clean. Look how long they're getting. I think that, when you're a junior rower, it's so hard to sort of get that effective length and really sort of have those clean puddles. But it looks like they're really doing that, and it helps a lot, not slowing down the boat on the way forward. And that's clearly, allowing them to get some extra run on the boat, some extra speed. So the fact that they're able to do that at such a young age is really impressive.
Barn Elms overtaking Leeds on the outside, followed by Marlow Rowing Club. Looking nice and tidy. Clean finishes coming out there. Kingston, I think it's Kingston Rowing Club. Got Kingston Rowing Club as well. Number 280. A little bit behind on our spreadsheet. J16 School 8s.
So the start of the J16 School 8s.
We've got another comment here from a Jim Lassen. Good, informative commentary, chaps. Jim, I agree with you.
Great. Cheers, Dad. And we got a three wide.
Three boat wide. We've got Tideway Scullers bringing up the rear there. They're really sort of catching up with those schools ahead of them. But they were the J15 8s, and now we've got a slight bit of a gap here to. Wimbledon High School, they're looking very clean. They've obviously, got a bit of nice water, and they're obviously using it really well. Really sending it back, sending those puddles away, keeping those blades off the water on the recovery, which is always a great sign as a junior crew.
This is 282, followed by 283.
Bedford Girls' School.
And Norwich School. So Rory Cruikshank's alma mater there.
And we've got a shout out to Mia in the Norwich School, apparently.
Well done, Mia. You're looking like you're rowing really well.
So the catering team here today have just provided us with some chocolate buttons, brand unspecified. So what are your favourite pre-race snacks, guys? Obviously nutrition, very important part of sport. What do you like to eat before a race?
You know, I think 40 minutes or so you need some kind of sugar, so you need some carb-heavy meals sort of 2 to 3 hours before you're rowing, but then, you know, you'll want a banana or something just before you get on the water, because obviously you'll row up a long way before then you start the race, so you need to be fueled properly before you actually start, and having a banana or a cereal bar can always be a good way to keep those energy levels up so you're not low on energy during the race. But it looks like none of these crews are. Yeah, plenty of sugars.
Look, there's a bit of a gap here from.
I think this is a mixed 8 from Camford School. We've got some mixed 8s coming down.
Very
so
good.
It's great to see that category, you know, potentially enabling a school or a club with a very small program to race in an 8, or perhaps for people who haven't made the girls and boys crews, they're all able to race today because they can jump into a mixed boat. A really strong looking Camford crew here. I think they started second in this category, but
they were the first crews to win it, apparently, back in the day.
So there we go, first crews to win
George Farthing saying that he won it back in the day. Alumni at Leander Club at the moment.
But this is a great event, you know. I think we could see more of this on the international stage. It really shows, you know, a really sort of like good cohesion between teams, and really opens the sport up for more athletes. And I think, you know, if you do have a sort of smaller club, being able to row in events like this and making it sort of a really prestigious event, you know, is always great for the depth of rowing in the country, and really sort of helps boost rowing in different clubs and different areas around the country.
And obviously with the integration of the mixed 8 coming into the under 19, under 23 and senior world championships this year, before possibly going into the Olympics in LA. What do we think that's it's obviously good for the sport, but do we think it has to be athletes that have already raced in the championship, so it can't be new athletes, but do we think that's because it's going to be a de-evolution of the men and women's 8, or do we think it's going to be just like an add-in?
You know, I think it's very similar to the sort of swimming mixed relays, which are always really exciting. You know, people love seeing sort of athletes competing against each other and showing everyone on the same stage is really great for the sport. And, you know, having role models on the top stage to sort of see and aspire to is always super important. So that enables more athletes from a younger age to sort of get into the sport and push on. So I think it's a really good development for the sport.
Do you think nations will find it quite hard? Because obviously when you get to the top level, I think boats do tend to have their own rhythms, and obviously men and women's boats do tend to have different rhythms themselves. So I think maybe it's quite interesting to see how nations merge that in probably like men's and women's 4s coming together within the World Championships.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge from a sort of technical perspective. I think, you know, some of the interesting questions that spring to mind are you going to rig the women's seats in the boat differently to the men's? Because, you know, men and women have different physiology, and also where are you going to sort of seat people in the boat? Do you sort of go men in bow 4, women in stern 4, or
do you go men in the middle 4
or do alternating
around?
Pairs? So yeah, it opens up all sorts of questions. I think there's a bit more strategy involved in how you set up your boat there as well.
It's quite exciting though, because it enables smaller countries to enter larger boats. So if they're only able to enter the single in the World Championship, if they've got 2, you know, really strong female and male athletes, then they can combine and, you know, do a double. So I think, you know, it opens up a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, of
for
course.
Smaller countries around.
The mixed double coming in, and these mixed 8 coming into the World Championships this year. So it's exciting to watch.
Anyway, back to the rowing here. So we've got the girls' second J16 8s. Surbiton has passed, and then we've also had St Paul's Girls' School.
I think that might have been Surbiton Survey, you know, so lots of Surbiton 8s. Their third 8, I think that was them just passing there, and then we will shortly be seeing their girls' J16 second 8.
Oh, right. Very good.
And we've got also a boys J15 third 8, so we're getting a bit of overlap between some of the different categories here. Now it's Latimer's girls J16 second 8. So quite interesting here that you're seeing a lot of side-by-side action between your boys and girls crews together here today.
And Godolphin and Latimer are having a really good row there, catching up with that Latimer Upper School, and really sort of pushing on there. So I think, you know, we can see obviously you're sort of bunched up quite sort of tight already, but a lot of good rows happening today.
Another LEH crew coming past here. That's the girls J16 second 8. Looking long, looking racy. A really punchy rhythm there.
Got a boat without a bow number here.
That looks like a
That's a
Latimer
£10 fine.
upper school crew
That is
here.
a £10
That's a £10 fine. Unlucky.
J15 third 8.
Pull their pocket money together to pay that.
How would you distribute the fine? Would you say everyone puts £1 of the bid in, or does one person take the hit?
No. I think that's the club. That's definitely the club. They pay the fees. It's the club.
Plus
But here
VAT.
VAT as well. They can claim that back. Don't want you worry.
Here we have the Hampton boat, looking very nice and tidy on their home water. Really pushing on, being
It's
chased
not
by
their home water.
being chased by the Westminster boat.
That's Abingdon.
That's
Abingdon boat.
Abingdon 302. Number 302. Looking nice and clean there from Abingdon. Loads of 8s we've had from Abingdon today, and St Paul's.
Yeah,
Loads
they're
and
looking
loads of
really
8s.
strong this year. And, that helps a lot, pushing up their top boat and making sure that, having a big pool of athletes to try and pick from is always a real benefit to the club, and really helps with the longevity of the success of a club. So trying to keep those athletes around, and hopefully they've had a good time out there today. But really sort of great for the sport.
You can see a lot of bunching up coming up here. So we've got 4 boats within probably about 3-4 lengths of each other, and then we've got a singular 2 boats, and then we've got another bunch coming up as well after that as well.
So this looks like just the end of the third J15 8, so that's Radley coming down, then chased closely by the girls J15 top boat. So a lot of bunching happening here, and it'll be hard for those top boats in the girls J15 8s really to sort of row in that difficult water. But it looks like that St Paul's boat is really sort of managing that well and really pushing on. They're very clean and tidy, despite the boats bunching up ahead of them. They're really pushing on there from all those sort of J15 third 8s on the men's side.
Yeah, St Paul's looking really quite class here.
And there's a big gap that's opened up to the boats behind them from King's School Chester. So they're obviously having a really good row, looking very clean. Really pushed on by passing their boathouse and getting that energy from the crowd there. You can hear a lot of cheering, which is great to see.
7. So we got King's School Chester.
My
Your
alma
old
mater,
club again.
indeed.
Your
Exactly,
old club.
out in force today,
Out
seeing
in
many
force.
8s from them on the tideway
And
today.
you're getting followed by Rory Cruikshank's old club,
Are we? Oh yes,
Norwich
School.
which means they've overtaken Monmouth.
I'm not sure I can spot Monmouth so far, so it looks like
I think Monmouth
Norwich
is
School.
just back there. It's in the
Oh
Grey
yeah,
Hudson.
Haberdasher's Monmouth.
The
yes,
Grey Hudson.
Yeah.
Falling a little bit behind there. I think this is... I don't know who this is, actually.
Wimbledon High
Wimbledon
School,
High
I think.
School.
A very racy looking crew there, really...
Punching on the finish.
yeah, punching
Really
on the finish,
punchy.
I agree.
And we've got a close battle from... Can't see the numbers. I think it's...
I think there's a Surbiton High
273.
School crew there, and possibly Bedford Girls' School.
Yes. 273 and 272, I think. And then there's Monmouth School coming in here. And St William Perkins. Haven't seen many Sir William Perkins today, actually.
No, but it's great to see them out there now, and they look like they're really sort of putting on a great show. So
Might be saving themselves for tomorrow.
maybe,
quads.
yeah, indeed, yeah. It's difficult managing that sort of racing one day and the next, and not too many of the top athletes will want to do that in terms of two races within 24 hours. It's a very difficult thing to manage the recovery and then also put on your best performance.
Great prep for Henley.
Great prep for Henley.
Great prep for Henley.
Race
Yeah,
one day after another.
How would you guys go about managing that? Multiple races, maybe even multiple races in the same day at sort of national schools or Henley. What are your strategies for managing that?
Yeah, I think the key thing is getting food on immediately after you finish the racing. You want to cool down really well. it can take sort of like 20 minutes to cool down properly, have a cold shower, try to flush the lactic acid out your legs, and then get to bed really early. So sleep, hydration, nutrition, and really trusting that training that you built up over the winter period.
Couple of crews here, LEH and Headington, I think, Headington School.
That is indeed a Headington School crew. I think these are now the girls' J15 second eights.
That famous Headington uni suit, it's iconic in the rowing world, and very sort of emblematic and very clear when it comes to Henley, who they are, and it's obviously sort of a big honour rowing for Headington. So
yeah, of course, and there's loads of eights out here today, repping that all in one.
Yeah, no, lots of schools have their very distinctive colours. I mean, what are your favourite club colours?
I do like Shiplake, actually.
I like Shiplake.
I really like Shiplake. I think it's very iconic, and I'm also a fan of the Leander Cerise.
Absolutely.
I'm also a fan of the Brooks one.
Maroon and navy blue, I believe. King's School Chester crew coming down here. So girls J15 second eight. So like I say, lots of eights from that club. Great strength in depth under director of rowing James Gray and head coach Matt Jump.
And we've got a 3-boat side here coming in.
Battle.
We've got
Latimer Upper, I
3, 2, 4.
3, 2, 4. So
Latimer
that's
Upper.
Latimer Upper.
Putney High School.
Getting pushed very hard by Putney High School.
And Bedford Girls School. So I think Bedford Girls School possibly being overtaken by some of those other crews here. But very exciting for the spectators and for the people in those boats to have that bit of side-by-side action.
Putney High School taking everything from the outside there. It's really good to see.
The builders working on the bridge stopped to watch that one, so that was clearly one of the races of the day.
And another Sir William Perkins School here. Another Sir William Perkins School 8 coming in, being closely followed by, I think that's St Paul's Girls' School. Yes.
Yeah. So this is the girls' second J15 8.
Very late square for the middle four there.
You've got to minimise that wind resistance with the late square. Get every inch of run you can out of the boat. As soon as you square that blade, a little bit of extra aerodynamic drag.
And it's quite difficult on this course, when because you've got so many different bends around the course, it can be quite changing in the wind conditions, and it can be quite difficult to manage as a sort of crew if you're not used to the tideway. So sort of being able to manage that is half of the race really, and really sort of adapting your style as you come around the bends, and then also deal with the changing wind conditions. But
yeah,
it looks like they were doing that
spot on there. I think, Jack. I mean, it's not too windy today. It's a pretty light wind and a bit of a tailwind, which you obviously, with it being wind with stream, you don't get the water's choppy. But yeah, I always felt as a cox, part of your job in this race, you've got to let the crew know where they are in the race, but also kind of adapt to the conditions as you come around at each bend, and you want kind of different focuses, I think, in a headwind versus a tailwind, and you can get both in the same race here as you follow the meanders of the river. So yeah, very important to be on it for each stretch and each sort of set of conditions that you get.
And here we are in the final event of the day, the girls J15 third eights. So they're coming down. Here's LEH leading them off, and then closely followed by Latimer Upper and Surbiton High.
Surbiton have overtaken there, from nearly the back to the front, so
yes,
that's good.
Yeah, 4 crews in this field. So yeah, Surbiton perhaps looking like potential winners of that from what we can see out on the water with the way those boats are moving.
And that is the last boat that's gone past Hammersmith Head. Oh,
I think there might be one more coming down.
One more coming down.
J15 Girls Third Eight from Latimer Upper School, who we bring you pictures of now. And we can see the launches starting to head back down, so they are the last crew on the water today.
So with the race going past, we've now got provisional results. So we're going to focus obviously on the champ women's categories now. So the champ women's 8 has gone to Headington School.
Wow.
Yep, so that's quite a big performance, taking over tideway scullers that were the heads at Weehall, I believe. And then we got Kingston Grammar School in the first 8.
Wow.
I think that's a bit of a surprise there, actually.
Great result from them. I think, you know, they'll be incredibly happy with that result, and you know, they've obviously built a great program there, and they're trying to use this result. I know a lot of it, the season is about momentum. You know, you're trying to build momentum from that first race to the second race, and really sort of, you know, use this, not getting complacent after a result like this, but using it to fuel your training and push on is such a big thing, and not, you know, thinking, oh, we've already won this one, we can step off a bit. You need to sort of use it, and there's obviously sort of 2 directions you can take it, you know. I think it's a bit difficult sometimes if you get an early win to then, you know, push on and keep going, but they've really got to use that.
I think with the quads as well, we've now got Tyway Scullers taking the Champ Girls quads.
Wow, okay.
So that's another one.
Yeah, I think there were a few crews who could have been potential winners of that race, but seeing them come down, you know, I think they had a few overtakes.
They did, yes.
And
obviously it's their home
really,
water.
Really good.
Their
home water, which does help, but you know, a great job from
taking on Wycliffe as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a very great result, and they'll be hugely proud of that.
I do think with the junior rowing, it's probably actually the most competitive field you get, really. Or there's so many different crews that have, you know, great coaching, great equipment, resources behind them. There's so many crews that have all the things in place they need to win. So we see some really exciting racing here and later in the season at national schools and Henley every year. There's perhaps sort of, you know, more people who can get right up there than in maybe club or university rowing, I would say.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think as a junior athlete, you know, you've really got to sort of blend together as a crew. It's not necessarily about your sort of individual athletes, but it's about how you sort of really gel together as a crew and push on together. So some great results from Tydo there.
Yeah, and I think I just had a quick look at the results, and the J15 women's 8s. Was won by Headington, and so was the Champ 8. So I mean, there's obviously some bit of depth going on in there.
I think the second 8 as well, the senior
second 8 as well.
8. So yeah, really, really strong senior squad backed up by the J15s. I think we did see Surbiton take the Champ J16 girls.
We did, yes, yeah. So I mean, there's some great results there. Maybe a bit of a shake-up for some of them, actually.
Yeah, there's a shift in the sort of landscape of junior rowing, and each year it can be hard to sort of continue momentum or you know, push on from last year based on you know, the athletes that you have for the next year. But if you're sort of got a high turnover of athletes, you know, you can see a situation with like Sir William Borlase, you know, where they had a really good run from a few years, but then they sort of had that sort of drop off. And I think it's all about that momentum from one year to the next. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, with the men's crews as well, we obviously talked about that between the divisions, but I think Windsor Boys, obviously the Champ men's quad, I mean, that's just a dominating performance as well, and same with St Paul's as well, both dominating performances, both were the favourites coming into this. So I mean, is there going to be a change up, do you think?
Never say never. I think, you know, those are both programs that have won so many times in recent years, and real dynasties that have been built by, you know, Bobby Thatcher at St Paul's and Mark Wilkinson at Windsor Boys. So you know, it'd be an upset perhaps to see a change, but we always do. I think that's the great thing with your school rowing is, you know, particularly actually national schools, you know, those Champ 8 finals, both girls and boys, and Champ Quads finals can be very, very close, and then at Henley with the knockout racing you see some real upsets. So who knows? Especially
with the formation of that, they're letting clubs into these into the 8s as well, so we might see Tyway Scullers putting in a bit more of a push towards Nat schools and possibly towards Henley to get the women's Champ 8.
Yeah, and I think that's a huge development for the sport in general. You know, I think being able to have these Champ events and that allows club athletes in is really important for the sport, because if, you know, you're not at a big school, it can be quite hard to then compete at Henley, and, you know, you've got very few sort of events that you can actually enter into. So the fact that it's then opened up to a huge range of athletes is really important.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for watching. I think we will wrap up there. Let me just say before we go, you know, please do check out the photos, videos and packages from today. We've had 2 different photographer camera angles out there and some 4K slow-mo video clips as well. all of that's available at www.allmark.one. Also, check out Crew Connection if you're looking for any advice on applying to university and going over and rowing at university in the US, and also coaching tips, training tips from Jack and Sholto, both incredibly experienced athletes. And finally, do check out Toby Lassen on Instagram.
Great.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thank you very much.